cheeseburger.
G'day peeps, welcome to Heart Talks. Today I brought back Brian the Healer. He was on a few weeks ago. He's been working on me. He did on our last show, and we've been continuing working on my healing. And Brian, I want to just thank you so much. I feel a difference. I probably I could actually feel where I was holding on to some energies, and that is gone now. Welcome to Heart Talks, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate being able to come back and talk with you some more. So I'm looking forward to all the things we'll be talking about. So
yeah. Well, when we were on the last show, I told peeps that I would, keep them informed on the healing, and several of my friends have contacted you, and everybody is very impressed with what you're doing, and so I just wanted to back you up here, and we have a lot of things that we can talk about. One of the things is your classes that you're offering, and I think we should kind of promote that, and let's talk about the different classes that you're offering.
Okay, well, I have a few different classes that I'm offering. I'm offering everything from, like, even information on nutrition, on anatomy and physiology, about hypnosis, about basic healing, how to treat people with cancer, doing even pain relief with different parts of the body, how to do spinal adjustments, how to do body scans, how to open up somebody's third eye, also how to be intuitive, how to unlock that ability within yourself, how to use essential oils with all your healings, how to do a detox from somebody either with you or across the world, and even how to do psychic surgery. These are just some of the subjects that I'm looking at. If I do have anybody have any requests, then I can work on preparing classes for those things too.
Okay, so when you go to your site and request and fill out that form,
yep.
At that point you have to kind of decide which class you want to take.
Well, what I would really like to do, Sheila, first is actually have people register, and that lets me know how many people are actually interested in different classes. Then, as part of the emails and the messages that I send out, it'll help to address the different concerns and the different classes people are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's important that if people have certain requirements or things they want to learn about, or things I haven't directly listed, I can tell them it's either part of another class, or, like I said before, I can actually write material for that particular training if they wish, and we can incorporate that into the curriculum. So when people, the way I have it set up is I have a registration fee. The registration fee helps me to pay for the online hosting and also retrieval, so that I'm trying to do it so that I can have retrieval for a 1-year period. So from year to year, people can go back to classes that they might have missed and come back and actually learn from pre-recorded classes. So those things are available that way.
So you're going to record each class so that you can go back and...
Yep, so the classes will all be done live, but they'll also be recorded for future callbacks, for even if people start late, they can actually catch up on the classes as they have time available for themselves. So they can just book in. Each of the classes will have a small fee. That's just to cover preparations and time to prepare the lessons, things like that. But other than that, it's a very low cost but a very informative and a very interactive teaching for all students involved. So I will have times where people, if I have students who are actually want to ask a question, then I will put them on live and they can ask me a question in live session with me directly, and I can answer that question and any others that come up as far as texting from the different students across the board.
So it's going to be like a conference call where you have multiple screens where everybody can kind of be together.
Yes, we'll see. I'll have everybody listed as far as who the students are who are there, as well as up to 3 other students who are live with me at the time. I can do visuals. I can put up pictures. I can send them information as far as what information they'll need for the class. I can send them text where they can print out material for the class so they can follow along with the outline and things like that.
You know, you are offering these classes at a very minimal cost, and I really appreciate that you are doing that, because it's really a gift, because you are just covering your cost, really. Do you want to tell the people what you're charging for your classes?
Okay. The class charge will be a $25 charge per 2-hour period. So the class period should run roughly about 2 hours, but the registration fee, which is separate, is the $100, which covers the ongoing support costs.
Right.
But it's a very minimal cost, because I realize that people just like myself, hey, we don't have a lot of money sitting around, but I don't want to make it a burden on people. I just want to make it so that I'm helping you and they're helping me. And that's why I do it that way.
All right. Now, Brian, do people have to have some kind of background or something to be a healer? I mean, can anybody join? Is this something that people are guided to? I mean, this is a huge step into a new direction for anybody who chooses to do this, and it would change their lives forever to learn these techniques. What is there any prerequisite?
Prerequisite is just the desire to be a healer. I don't really place. Okay, if somebody has a health background or anything that which is training in that way is an advantage to them, but I will not stop anybody who wishes to learn how to become a healer to be one. I ask people if they can learn something about anatomy and physiology, because that has a part to play in being a healer. But if they don't have that ability, and if they don't have the opportunity, I can do basic classes with that, and then help to get them to, I can go from being a fundamental to practitioner, and also on to be a master's levels of understanding. And there might be, like on anatomy and physiology, there's a lot of material, so there might be different lessons within that level, but those will be over different periods of time. But I'm going to be doing it. We'll have one course of study on twice a week, and another course study on another week. If we have additional classes, and they'll be on top of the first class, and then so forth, going forth that way, because it's going to be, some people may not want one class, but they'll want another one, and that's why I have to make it even going that direction. If that makes sense.
So, what is the importance of knowing the anatomy, and what healing aspect is that important?
Okay, well, the reason why I asked for that is because as a person is trying to treat somebody, it's also important in their mind to know what they are treating. Okay, if you physically look at somebody, you can't always see what's going on. But if you use your mind to think through a person's body as to what is actually happening to them, then that helps to bring in the healing aspect of what I do, like even with psychic surgery. Like even today, about an hour ago, I was actually doing a psychic surgery on a man's brain because he had had a lot of different aspects of what had happened to him. So I was able to take the spirit of his brain out. I was able to remove all of the bad stuff that was in his head and get rid of it. And then after I'd done both the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, I introduced it back to his body. And he said there was a complete transformation of his ability to sense the world around him from after doing that, because it was like that. It was just it changed like that, and he was like, "Whoa, I can't believe that."
Wow.
This is part of what I'm talking about. Knowing where you're going into the body to do different things, it makes it easier for you to do a healing on that particular part of the body because your body responds more to it. It's sort of like trying to go in and repair a broken a wheel when you're trying to change a flywheel on a car, for example. They're two different things. So if you know where you're focusing in on and you can focus in on that area, then it makes it easier to get the understanding. So having that background makes it a lot easier to understand what's going on.
Right. Right. Because that is your experience.
Yes.
Yeah. And all right. And in all those courses that you're offering, is there I know that you go through many layers through the body and outside of the body whenever you're healing. Is part of teaching intuition, is that part of it?
Yes, being able to recognize what's actually happening. You use your intuition to actually, as you're looking upon somebody, the intuition ability within you unlocks the ability to get through what's the base problem and knowing how to fix it. And going through and doing that is going to make the most sense in helping to treat somebody through intuitive ability. Just like with yourself, I was able to pick up so many things from you, both when we were online last and also on our other online healings. I was able to pick up things even though you didn't tell me, but I was able to pick them up because I opened my mind and allowed that information to flow in.
Right.
And that's what I was talking about.
I wanted to talk about that because there were things that I had blocked out that you had found. And I asked you, Brian, is it important that I, go through and remember all that? And you go, it's gone. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I want to heal. I want to move forward. I want to cleanse. I want to release all of this. And just like the guy that you just treated with the brain, it happens spontaneously. And
I don't go by a script. I just go by what I'm feeling at the time. So no two healings are exactly alike. Although they have a lot of similarities, no two are exactly alike. And when I'm holding somebody's heart, the spirit of their heart in my hand, I'm actually feeling the sensation of their heart beating in my hand. And it's very touching to my heart because I'm actually feeling somebody else's heart. And they may not even be with me. They may be across the world, and I'm still able to feel it. And I'm still able to have a sensation of it. And I'm also able to heal it. And that's an important aspect to any healing, is being able to connect with somebody and being able to have that interaction with them.
Your reaction while you were doing my healing, I had an idea of things that were going on, but your reaction showed me not only how dark it was, but also how absolutely compassionate you are when you saw that and you wiped it away. And it was I could feel such compassion in you whenever you were looking at the whole picture and getting rid of things. And again, it touched my heart that I could see you react, that I knew that you were indeed being able to see what it was that I needed to release. And again, thank you so much. And everyone that I've talked to so far who's had a healing from you has felt the same way. The compassion that you have is remarkable. And for those who are going into these classes, I think you can actually look forward to having an intensity of your own compassion through these healing experiences.
Well, Sheila, even after we had done the last show, I did that other healing on the rest of your body afterwards, and you had a complete change within a very short period of time, and your whole body, your whole persona changed. And it was beautiful to actually be a part of that, and I'm honored that you actually allowed me to help you.
Okay, so you see that. You see because he says that every time. He is honored to be able to come in to my darkness and heal that. And the honor is actually mine. That and in this time, it was my desire to have a new healer, and I do believe that the universe sent you my way, or that we found each other. And for those who are considering his classes, if you are feeling that pull with him, please take the effort to try these classes out, because it's going to change your life. And Brian, okay, there was a point, I have done some amazing, incredible healings on others. And then there came a point where I discovered that, I needed to be healed. And I kind of took time off from healing others to concentrate on myself, because I felt like if I could be more healed, I could be a better healer. Is that true?
Yes. Just last night I was doing a healing on somebody from Utah, and she had come to me, and she was having a blockage, and she couldn't open up her third eye. And she was saying, Brian, is there anything you can do for me? I says, yeah, well, if you'll let me, I can feel what you're feeling so I can know how to treat you. So then I took her spirit, put it over me, and I was able to then withdraw the spirit of her brain, and I was able to look at her brain. I was able to clear out all of the excuse my French, crap that was in her brain, wipe it all out, bring in the blood flow. And then at the end of doing both the right and the left sides of the brain, then I was able to then connect it into and reestablish and build back up the third eye. And then I was able to put it back into her. And then she said it was a complete transformation. Her clarity of vision on her third eye was so much more pronounced after I had done the restoral than it was from the original set on of it working with her.
And are you going to do follow-ups on these folks that you're talking about?
I always do.
Yeah.
I always keep track of the people that I have helped, and I always go back and see how they're doing to make sure that everything is going all right. If they have any further questions or whatever, then I'll be glad to help them in any way possible.
Right. And I will tell you from my own experience that when I've had to call upon Brian, and he was right there. I do appreciate he was working on another healing, and 10 minutes later he was right there. I needed help right away, and that's how I use my healers. I take my healers very personal. And there's another thing is that this is a very personal thing for me, and to have to connect with a healer and to be able to let go and trust and feel secure in knowing that I can call you when I need to. That's better than any doctor's appointment you've ever had in your life. And I do appreciate you being available. I know you're very busy. I know you're always working on healing. So again, thank you for that.
No problem.
Okay, so let's say, so for people who are not going to healer's class and they're having some of the issues, let's talk about diabetes. I know a lot of people who have that. Okay, what can you say about that?
Well, it depends on whether people want to keep the diabetes or they want to get rid of it. I can teach them to get rid of it if they want to, but if they want to keep it, that's their choice.
You know, that might sound funny, but it's absolutely true. And why would people want to keep their diabetes?
Well, many doctors tell people that there's no way once you get it to get rid of it. But what they don't tell you is how to get rid of it, because people like myself, I know how to get rid of it. And I have treated other people who don't have it anymore. So it depends on whether people want to continue to follow the directions of their medical doctors or whether they want to actually not have that problem anymore. And the reason why many medical doctors don't tell you that there is a way to fix it is either one, they don't know how to fix it, or number two, is they don't want to lose you as a customer.
Right. That's very clear. And whenever you're treating diabetes, at what layer are you treating that?
Okay, well, the best thing that I can do, Sheila, is actually to treat somebody and teach them how to prevent it from coming back. Yes, I've actually had people with diabetes where their kidneys have shut down, and I was able to restart kidneys that had been shut down for 20 years.
Oh my!
Who had somebody who had dialysis, and I was able to get renal function and function coming back.
Oh my God!
After 20 years, and they thought that 20 years of dialysis, that's pretty drastic.
Yes, it is.
But still, to come back and to get their kidneys working again is the best thing I could do. Another thing that is important for people who have diabetes is that if they want to prevent it, it's because there's two main minerals that are causing it to be caused in the first place. One is chromium, and the second is vanadium. Now, you can go out and try to buy tablets for those things, but I find it's actually better because of health to do a broad spectrum to cover all your minerals at one time. So it's better to actually have a broad spectrum mineral supplement that actually has the chromium and vanadium in it, because it's when people get sick that they have different deficiency levels. The more they get deficient, the more health problems they get. 90% of your health is minerals, 10% is vitamins. Most people get it the other way around. They worry about the vitamins and they totally forget about the minerals. Or the minerals they're getting are not sufficient for the body to absorb them, and it's just passing through before it gets absorbed. But for the diabetes, I've treated people for it. I've had great success. But medical doctors don't want people like everybody out there to know about it, because then they lose too many people coming back for more of their treatments.
Right.
Which is not really treating anything, it's just maintaining it.
Right.
It's not really doing anything for it.
Right.
But what I do is I teach people to actually change their body around so they don't have that dependency upon drugs, and they can actually put their lives back in perspective and get their bodies working again.
Okay. And a part of that, like you were saying, is that they don't want to give up their diabetes. So isn't there a thought part of that is, it's no longer my diabetes. It's, not not owning it.
You'll see, not wanting to have diabetes is the most important step. Now, there's a couple things that is very important to note. Number one is that there was a study done in China for a 30-year period, and it's in a book called The China Study. And they actually found that diabetes was pretty much null and void across 1/5 of the world's population over a 30-year period by following the diets that were listed in the book. And diabetes has some problems. And if people want to actually get rid of diabetes, there's some really good things that they can do. Important things is that if they eat a lot of animal protein, like meat or whatever, or dairy products or even sugar, and if the three of those things are more than 10% of a person's diet, then they themselves can keep that diabetes going longer. If people want to avoid it, if they actually reduce their intake of the dairy products, sugar, and animal products down below 10%, but for like even a 2-month period, doing a cleanse where we go basically on a vegan diet, you can then reintroduce those other three, like the animal protein, sugar, and dairy products, and keep them down below 10%, and that will actually help to get their body to healthy habits, and then they can actually forget about having diabetes if they have it with the chromium and vanadium. They can actually void it out.
Wow. Along with a healing.
Excuse me?
Along with a healing. Or are you just saying, I mean...
Well, see, I can do the healing both ways, but, okay, if I do a healing on somebody who has diabetes, the healing is basically superficial if they don't have the foundation underneath to support it.
Right.
Now, what I'm talking about is that, okay, like any healing, there is recovery time and there's treatment time, okay? And if you have somebody who has diabetes and they've had it for like 20 years or whatever, you can treat the person, but if they don't change their basic undertones, which actually make it so it happens, it's only short-lived for the healing because you overdo it. Okay, your body can't compensate for that. On the other hand, if you take on hand the fact that if you want to correct it and have it go away, it's your choice. I'm not going to tell you which way to go with it, but at the same time, I need you to understand that yes, a healing is important to doing that, and yes, I can help people with that, and they can feel the healing as it's going on. But for lasting, long-term healing, the healing I give plus the nutrition is it just cleans your slate. It just starts you all over again, and it makes it so it's a lot better for yourself.
Right. Package deal.
It worked. I'm trying to work with people to help them. So it's good from an advice and support point of view. It doesn't make sense to try to treat somebody. It's like trying to treat somebody who smokes. If they continue smoking, trying to teach them not to smoke is pointless if they don't want to stop. The same thing happens with nutrition and diabetes because they work together, and by changing the diet that little bit and then adding in those minerals that they need, they can actually get rid of it. So I don't try to read anything into it. I just try to tell people the way that it actually is, so people understand it better.
Right. One of the healings that I had, this was quite some years ago. I'm not even sure which layer or what it was that got healed, but prior to that healing, I was kind of always looking at what other people other healers and other intuitives and people who had their gigs. I was always looking at their gigs and thinking, wow, that would be so cool to have. And the whole time I was ignoring my own gig. I wasn't really honoring myself. And one of those healings that I had, something happened, and all of a sudden I'm like, I've got a gig. And I was able to I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I knew my own gig. Something had come unblocked. I don't know, but it was instant and it worked really well. And well, you can see what I'm doing now.
Actually, if I could take a break for 1 second, my camera's turned off to you, and I'll come right back. If you can just give me a minute just
Okay.
to establish it.
Sure. Welcome to Heart Talks. We had a little tech problem, but we're just going to call this part 2 and continue. We will not be stopped. Okay, so Brian, let's say somebody's would like to be more participant in their own healings.
Yes.
Okay, so how can you approach that?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I started the school up in the first place, so that people could actually choose for themselves if they want to actually learn how to be a practitioner. A person doesn't have to go to somebody else. If they really want to, they can treat themselves if they have it within their mind that they actually want to do it that way. There's nothing that stops them. The only thing that stops them really is what they think up here.
Right.
So, like for you to want to treat yourself, or even if you want to do a surgery or anything like that, even on yourself, all you need to do is just think it through, and it works. And what I teach people is how to actually recognize those feelings and how to unlock them.
Right. And now, like, there was all this stuff that was blocked within me. I'm sure others are having that same thing. I know that's why I called you, because I needed, I needed the help. So, I don't feel bad about that one bit. And I even after being in healing experiences myself, I still felt like I needed some help, and so I don't want people to feel like that they have to do this on their own until they're ready.
Well, what's really interesting? Something came to mind, and that was that in doing the healings and stuff like that, it's also the presence of your consciousness as to whether you want the healing to take place. I have had people actually contact me who I did even before I was even able to do the video conferencing to talk with people or to do a healing with them online. I've had people even just send me messages, and they could know the second I started treating them, because they also, it's like a whoosh. They just felt it's like this rush of help, and they can know exactly when they were feeling, when I was thinking about them or when I was doing stuff on them, because they felt just felt like a wave from the ocean just break over them like crazy. Whoosh, whoa. But having said that, people need to understand that if they want to heal themselves, they can. If they want to go to have somebody else do it, that's okay too, because sometimes people don't want to be part of their own healing. They want other people to help them, to guide them through it. And that's also part of the learning process. So there's two sides to the coin. It depends on whether a person wants to do it themselves, but in some future time, they might need to do it themselves, and it might be a good thing for them to learn.
Well, right. Like, if you're emotionally stuck in an area, or whatever it is, that I had to experience. It was so deep that I did not know what to do. And um and I, i'm just not I just don't feel in the least bit um bad that I required a healer. In fact, I feel like now, I'm even more involved. I feel better. I'm more involved with myself. I'm looking forward to whatever's happening next. I feel like because of this, new things are going to be happening to me. Great things are going to be coming my way because I'm clear of that.
Okay. Now, Rachel, while you were talking, I also picked up that there was another layer to your physical body healing that you need. And I'm actually picking up a lot of stiffness across your neck and your shoulders. Did you want to take care of that, or do you want to play with it later?
Is this for Rachel?
No, for you.
Oh, yeah, no, I want to take care of it. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay, so I need to know if I can have your permission to feel what you're feeling exactly so I know how to treat you, please.
Absolutely.
So I'm coming over and grabbing you, putting you over me like I normally would. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to take out there's a lot of emotion locked up in different parts of your body. And even though we did this healing before, you have other suppressed layers that have just been coming up. And I was feeling it before, but I was not trying to stop the lesson from coming on, but then to remove all this stuff in your upper body, which when you have emotion, your body actually stores it in muscle tissue in your body. And then when you're able to release it, it helps to get it off. And so help to get rid of that stress you have, I'm actually pulling it off and getting it off you because I just don't like this stuff. Now, is there any of this emotion you want to keep, or do you want to get rid of it?
I want to get rid of it.
Okay, gone. Okay, now I'm going to put the spirit back onto you. And can you tell me, is your shoulders a little bit looser than they were before?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right here. Looser.
That's where I was feeling it.
I was I was holding something in my feet.
Do you want to take care of that one?
Yes, please.
Hang on. Put your back on. Okay.
I love when my healer gets the giggles.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cleanse you from head to toe, so I get rid of all the other ones we didn't talk about, so we get them all done at one time. So I'm going through, I'm clearing them off from your feet, completely off. Now I'm going to get rid of all that stuff that's on the soles of your feet. Get rid of that stuff, especially around the ankles. Get rid of all that stuff. Okay, put it back onto you. Now, is your feet feeling a little bit better?
Yep.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's doing what I love to do, and that is helping people to feel better. And it doesn't matter to me whether the people can watch this at a later time. It doesn't bother me because of the fact that I'm doing what the spirit of the universe is telling me to do, and that's why I'm doing it. Because it needs to be done, and if it's given to me to do, then I just carry it out. And that's what I enjoy doing, and that's why I offer myself to be able to teach and help and bless and also heal other people.
Brian, you've had an amazing life. You've had certainly your share of challenges, health-wise. And did you have a healer?
No, basically I healed myself. I didn't have anybody come to me as a healer. I had time where I was in a coma for 3 weeks. And yes, I had people in the hospitals look after me, but nobody actually to be a healer for me. But it was me, as a novice, learning that I needed to heal myself, that I decided that I would then take myself from being half paralyzed on my left side of my body and coming out of a coma where my body hurt so much it felt like 100 ice picks were hitting every joint every time I moved. But I knew in my mind that I had to think, okay, do I need to get through this? The answer was yes. This is okay. I don't want pain medication because I want to know if I'm hurting myself. So then I worked through it and I healed myself completely. And even after that accident, which happened back in 1980, by 1985, I was actually in the military and I served for 8 years. After the fact that I had come out of my coma, learned how to walk, talk, do everything all over again, get my coordination back. So it was quite a big undertaking, but it wasn't anything beyond what I was able to do. I just didn't even know there was a choice. I just pictured in my mind what I wanted, and I didn't stop until I got there.
I don't know, for any of you who are able to see auras, I don't know if you can see Brian's right now, but he's got so much light coming out of him right now.
Thank you.
It's very, very bright. So do you think that you were like, in that coma, do you think you were given some special something or other to, I mean, you didn't, that was not normal.
No, well, I believe that when I came out of my coma that I had learned a few things. I even had an out-of-body experience where I remember looking down upon myself at the accident scene when they were trying to revive my heart because my heart had stopped twice. I had there was things I knew as I was growing up that I thought everybody else knew, so I didn't think anything different of myself than anybody else. But in time, that helped me to, yes, but it was brought some healing back for me as I was knocked out from that time during that accident. But then I also had things that I grew up with and I learned together. By bringing them together, it brought me into the healer that I am today. So just the synergy of all that coming together helps locks it all in. It helps me to have an ability that goes beyond what I was ever expecting.
And so, but on the same hand, you are saying that for others who would like to be to learn healing and become healers, you don't need to be in a coma or zapped or, near death or anything. Just a desire.
Okay. If a person wants to truly be a healer, they're already on their way to become one. What I would do, I had to personally learn my abilities because there was nobody there to give me a book and say, okay, Brian, on page 1, this is what you do. On page 2, this is what you do, so forth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce people to how they recognize the ability inside themselves and help them to make those abilities very acute so they can actually use them to heal themselves and others around them. So like I've even had dogs and cats and animals come just running towards me and just stop and look at me and become very excited because I was there. And then after I look at them and think, okay, why are they here? And then they telepathically, I get the intuitive feeling from them what they really want. Then I do the healing upon them. And then after they're finished, and they trot off and run away or go where they want to go.
Just like me?
What can you say?
Do the show, trot off, do the rest of my stuff. Oh, Brian.
I'm not trying to read anything into it. I'm just trying to help people to understand that we do things for the right reasons. And if we have our hearts in the right place, 90% of the job is already done. Then it's the rest of it is helping them to learn what they need to understand, helping them to comprehend what they're feeling, how to sense the things that are around them, how to unlock the intuitive ability that they already have, and helping them to make it so they can work for them. And that's what my main focus is is to help people to get them to that point.
Now, in these classes, are you going to have like a guest who needs a healing for the students to practice on?
Yes, I'll have some. I've had some people on my list who've asked to be healed as part because I asked for people for who wanted to not necessarily be healers, but just to be healed to put on there. So I've got a number of people for that. But I've also had some who are also students who also want to have healings done on them as well. So,
Right.
but like I was saying with my class structure is like I'll be in the upper left-hand corner and have all the other students around me, having the one practitioner and the one person being treated, and the other one is the observer. But then I'm the overall observer, making sure that everything's flowing the right way, and then helping them to bring into it all the different healing aspects and to address it in that way.
Right.
But it's interesting though that people don't really realize that these things are available to them, and they think it's a bit of hocus pocus. But I never
Well,
had that experience.
and there's another part of this whole aspect of healing is that you are bound to come face to face with non-believers, judgmental people, and you will gain strength getting through that part.
I've actually wrote about this on one of my Facebook postings. I've had healing the skeptics, and what I love to do is actually somebody goes, "Oh, what you do is not going to help me." This is, oh, okay, cool. And so if you feel different, are you going to tell me? Yeah, of course. And then once they change, it's like instead of being my biggest preventer or people coming to me, they actually become the biggest promoter because of the fact that the complete persona change. It's like, whoa, I mean, this actually can happen? Yes. And this is how it happens. And so skeptics are, it's just part of the fun of being a healer because there are people you're going to come across who are not going to believe you. And as part of any healing, there's different aspects. There's the person being treated and the practitioner. And if the practitioner in treating the patient doesn't actually have a good interaction with them, then it's going to be a little bit inhibited. But if the practitioner, while treating the person is going to be healed, finds that they can actually touch their life and help them to be better, then this person who's a skeptic turns right around and then says, yes, I want more of that. Please help me. And I face that. I actually go through that at least 3 or 4 times a week where I have people that are fully, you can't help that, to, wow, I didn't know this thing was actually possible. And that happens many times. So it's not like it happens all the time, but it does happen a lot.
I have a friend who has lupus.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned you to her, and lupus isn't any different than anything else, is it?
Okay, the biggest problem most people have is what's up here. If they've been brainwashed to think that there's no way to do a certain thing, they think that it can't be done. Just like there are many people like, don't get me wrong, medical doctors have their purpose, and there's times when you should go see a medical doctor. If you break your arm, don't bring it to a healer. Yes, the person will be able to heal you, but it will take just as long as it will be if you go to have your arm in a cast.
Right.
Now, or if you need surgery, definitely go see a surgeon because if it's life-threatening. But if you have time to work on it, you can have a psychic surgery, and it will be just as effective as doing it the medical way. However, doing it the medical way, you do have a risk of having you put out, where through psychic surgery, you don't have that problem. You can just carry on, and even you have your service or your treatment, and then you just get on with your life, and don't lose a drop of blood. And having said that, but going the other way with the medical side, there is always the danger of other complications because of medications or other things like that. So it's a personal choice. I'm not going to tell people not to have a surgery if they think that they have to have it, But then they come back to me and say, well, why didn't you tell me about this before? I said, I tried to, and I did tell you about it, but you didn't want to listen. So I don't try to pull it away from anybody. Don't try to give it anything.
The point is, once you've had a healing, you just move on from that.
Yes.
All right. And I knew that, and I did not look back. And after I had that first healing with you, I had many people say, "Oh, I can tell already. We could see energy changing as he was working on you." I mean, and that is the glory of a healing, is that you just move on. And I would say that letting go of the habit of owning it is probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because you're used to going, oh my this, or all the complaining things, and catching, and I mean, that's we talk about all the time. Watch your thoughts. Your thoughts are what is creating your world. And I think there's probably should be a good class on controlling your thoughts 101.
It's very true. Well, like I was actually preparing a message earlier today, and that was that yesterday I actually heard somebody say, "You know what? Energy is everything." And it was only just for a brief moment as I was walking by somebody, but that thought stuck with me, saying, "You know what? That was a true statement," and I'm going to actually use that in a different context, because of the fact that everything around us is energy. There's no part of your body that does not have some kind of energy flowing through it. As an energy healer that I am, I'm able to then, if they're not going in the right direction, I can actually change the way that it goes. In the same way where I had somebody give me some healing rocks and they put them in my hand, and most of them were okay, but one felt like it kept biting my hand. So I thought, okay, Joe, I need to change this because this one's biting me. So I put my hands over it, I changed the vibration, and I said, now this is now a healing rock in this way. And I handed it back to him, and his mouth just dropped. And he goes, how did you do that? And I says, well, Joe, it kept biting me. I didn't want it to bite me anymore. He says, but I want it to be that way. I says, but I'm sorry. But if that stone is actually attacking me, I have the right to change it. And I did. And it's through the energy healing ability that allows us to change the vibration if we need to for those type of things. And I handed it back to him and just couldn't believe the transformation of that rock compared to what it used to be before.
And what I want you to notice about Brian when he's talking is that there is no doubt. There is absolutely no doubt in what he believes and what he's doing and how he's doing it. He just does it. He just does it just like that. And he shows no doubt whatsoever. Doubt is just a killer of energy.
Well, the thing is, nothing was ever accomplished through doubt. It's only through focusing, setting your goal, and moving forward. The same thing in healing. Okay, when I'm doing the healing, I have a goal to have that healing occur. So what I do is I focus on what I want, I picture it in my mind, and then I use my intuition to follow what I'm feeling to go forward and do that healing. And that's how I do it.
Okay.
Very simply.
Is that something that will take time and practice with new healers?
I think it might be just the way they sell themselves or whether they actually understand their ability. But then through the courses that I'll be teaching, when I actually have the interaction with them online, I'll actually give them that understanding so that when they actually do those things in the future themselves, they'll go, oh, I've done this before with Brian. No problem. Boom. And off they go.
Right.
So that's what I focus on. So that's what my primary concern is, to make sure that goes that direction.
Well, all right, you guys, Okay, where can they find this information for the registration?
Okay. Well, I've actually incorporated the school into my my actual website of brianthehealer.com. And if you actually go on there, there's one of the tabs at the very top of along the top of the screen says Energy Healer School. If you click on that, then it goes through. You can download information on there. You can register. It even talks about costings and things like that. So all that's right there. The next tab over has current classes on offer. And there's also a PayPal tab next to each one. So all you do is click on that and it automatically puts the money in the right account and tells me whether it's going to be a live class for you or a recorded class. Those people who have actually paid for a live class, each of the classes will have a password to protect them, so the people who have not actually registered for the class won't be able to just watch in, but they'd have to have the password to get in for that class.
Okay, so $100 for registration.
And $25 for a class.
$25 for a class.
I try to make it as reasonable as I can because I know that people have a hard time with money, and so I think, well, I have to be fair, and that's the only way I can be fair.
Right. Well, Brian, thank you again. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for giving to this world, you know, such a gift and the desire to heal the world, heal the people, have people healed. I mean, that's ultimately where we're walking to anyways. And I believe that eventually we will all be healers. We will all be more in tuned and more capable of taking care of ourselves. Great things are coming our way. And you know, you guys, I'm sure you can go to Brian's Facebook page if you've got a question and ask him right there at Facebook, Brian the Healer. And, you know, if you're a little concerned, a little, you know, not sure which class you want to take, he's available. He'll be there to help you decide. So, you know, if it's something that you feel that you want to do, don't hesitate. Just keep walking towards that goal, because it will change your life, no doubt. Well, thank you, Brian, and I will be seeing you.
I really appreciate the time you're taking to talk with me today, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
All right, thank you so much. From my heart to yours, peeps, namaste.
Namaste.
Art Talks with Sheila J. Berger.